Hi, my name is Sharony Green, and I'm so excited about my new book on Better Stay Work. It is a children's book that I wrote when I lived in New York City. It would be right after the towers fell. I was laid off from a job at a record company, and I, like a lot of people, didn't know what was ahead. I lived in a women's residence in Gramercy Park. So if you know anything about New York City, you know this is a very fancy neighborhood. If you've seen the movie Notting Hill, in that moment when they jump over the fence into this private park, Gramercy has such a park. It is the last private park in New York City. And I was one of many women who got a key to the park. Anyone living on the park's four sides had a key to the park. Julia Roberts' terrace was off in the distance, and 2 blocks away was Washington Irving High School. And I taught there briefly, and in fact, it was there that I saw Deborah Gray White's now classic book on Black women in the Plantation South. And I decided that I was going to learn more about the pain of Black women before the Civil War. I would do so on my own body, and I went back to school. So 9/11 set in motion this pivotal moment in my life. I ended up in academe, but I ended up writing this book. I actually did the illustrations in my little room in the women's residence, and I want to someday display those original drawings. The book receives inspiration from the strong women in my family who were so stylish, among them my grandmother, maternal grandmother, my mother, definitely my late aunt, whose jacket I have on right now receives inspiration from my living in Brooklyn for a bit. You will see mention of Fort Greene, a gentrified community, one of many in this country. You especially see a little girl having an opportunity to see the other side. In fact, she does so via the fashion designer for whom her aunt works as a domestic. Her aunt isn't just a domestic. Her aunt is an actor. And one day she gets the call that she's been waiting for. She has an audition. She will soon be on Broadway. And her employer, a fashion designer named Miss Una, says, "I'll watch your niece today." And so little Dolores, also known as Dee, gets to see Manhattan through the eyes of this very, very, present fashion designer. I'll leave you with that. If you live in New York City and you know Gramercy, and if you walk by that fancy condominium that used to be a women's residence filled with old and young women reaching for our dreams, think about Miss Dolores. Thank you for buying this book.